Welcome back to the Cobx Masters here in Mumbai, India. We're in the middle of a semi-final game between Tigers and Signify, and it was pretty dominant, lads. Let's start with the draft, right? First of all, Gareth brought up that he thought that Signify had their comfort heroes. Where do you think it went wrong?
I think they chose to fight too late. I think Tigers hit their timings very early, and that definitely unsettled Signify in a lot of regards. They found a couple of very good team fights, but it just felt that 5 minutes too late to try and catch up or limit the momentum that Tigers had built up from the laning stage.
Interesting. When I looked at the draft itself, I kind of favored Tigers. Their heroes are just more durable. They have it felt like they had complete synergy. And Signify's draft, it all kind of relied on this Grimstroke thing.
It did, yeah. The thing is, though, they had many ways, so many combos with the Grimstroke, or even without it, that we both of us felt that they would be able to find these kind of combinations. We saw it in there's one team fight to the right of the bottom shrine area. That's where it worked out, but beyond that, they never really could get it together because Tigers were just always one step ahead of them. It started in the laning phase, and Raven was having the freest lane of his life, while Blizzard on the other side was pressured so much. He was fighting way too early for a Morphling to feel comfortable in these situations, and Tigers basically played Signify like a fiddle like that throughout this entire game. They got very quick timings on the items. Once the Blink Dagger came out and Sanking, Velo was just setting up for kill after kill after kill.
And then they had Greaves and Pipe and the Blink on Sand King.
Yep.
And the vision game from Tigers was exceptional. That one ward on the top Radiant Shrine, spotting out every Morphling rotation up there to try and find the safe farm. They spotted multiple smokes coming from that direction as well. And you could just see Tigers prepping and getting ready for every engagement, one step ahead, 2 steps ahead of Signify every single time.
For me, Swifty kind of underperformed pretty heavily on that Lino. There was a lot riding on him to create the momentum for Blizzard to be able to farm. And it just didn't really work out for them. So, did he play badly, or did Tigers play well to shut him down? What was the situation there, do you think?
I think it's all predicated on the way that the laning stage went. I think if, Signify did 10, 15% better in the laning stage, and, you looked at the net worth, and it was 3 red heroes up at the top, sitting at 6k, 6k, 5.5k, while the Morphling was 4.5, 4.7, Lena below him. If they had, just a touch more net worth, a level or so extra on some of these heroes, they maybe would have found that little bit of leeway to find the fight. But you need to fight as that team because your entire game plan is based around the Soulbind, Chain Frost, Laguna Blade. Blow up multiple heroes, get the numbers advantage, and then push forward your advantage from there. But the fact that Tigers were able to play across the map with, the Nature's Prophet TPing in and out of every single engagement, finding pickoffs with a Blink, Burrow Strike into Split Earth, it felt so difficult to really set up for a fight when Tigers were always sort of ramming into your objectives.
When I looked at the Morphling as well, I felt so sorry for him. That lane has just, since the dawn of Dota, has been terrifying, right? Leshrac and Sand King combined. It's just, you can't ever approach the wave. You have to constantly have sentry wards in place. There's just so much chaotic kind of things happening. It's very difficult to lane against, especially with this hero that has such a short range, trying to get close to the creep waves.
Yeah, turned out Tigers had the better lanes. They executed the lanes the way they needed to. There weren't really any flaws for Signify to even try and exploit. And as Gareth said, they were all over the place. They were so fast, and Signify, they couldn't really identify these movements, I feel like. So. And this is really important, especially for Lena, because you don't really like having people in your face.
No.
You want to keep it a kind of safe distance just toward your LSA, toward your
She's
right
pretty antisocial, Lena. She doesn't like people close to her.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
The big difficulty was the Lifestealer pick, right?
Yeah.
Because if you look at the way that Tigers kind of move around the map, Raven was top lane just farming,
just sitting there,
he dragged the wave back to his tier 2, then he'd push it out when he sees the opponent show elsewhere on the map. But that's an ungankable lane for your Lena, Grimstroke, Lich. They have to go somewhere else, and they're always moving 3 into 4.
Especially when your Lena and your Morphling are in recovery mode.
Yeah.
And your whole thing is panicking, trying to allow these guys to have some farm, trying to ward, deward, and the whole time it's very, very difficult to kind of execute that. All right, well, what do they need to change for the next game, Signify, to up the ante? Maybe.
Just go even crazy. I mean, they went for the comfort picks in this one. All of these players have played these heroes before.
Maybe this combination of comfort picks wasn't the best. When I see this Darkseer and and Grimstroke, and neither of them really have a hero. I guess Morphling to some extent that they can put their spells on. Lich too. They need this kind of frontliner to kind of get in there, like a Spirit Breaker, Slardar, Sand King, for example. And they didn't really have that hero to combine their spells with.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking back to the Morphling pick. I feel like that could have been a PA going for maybe even like a Vlad's Deso build, and then you slot in a little nicer into the team. And PA is a hero that, unlike Morphling, can sit back at her tier 1, throw daggers, and get some farm, right? You're going to get some farm, some experience. You can leave the support, you can leave the PA there, and your support can move elsewhere to maybe Troy lane or gank into the Lina lane, and it creates this kind of shift of dynamic away from the PA, and that creates space by making action happen elsewhere. I think the Morphling was, that kind of late game security that they wanted, but it also forced their hand to play into the later game when they needed that mid-game potential to fight against Tigers.
To me, when I see Signify play in this game, it seems like they're very chaotic, very kind of all over the place. And I don't feel like Lina's the kind of hero that suits this. Like, there's no room for error. Lina is the kind of hero you need like a calculated execution. These heroes at the front line and have total information over your opponents. And in this situation, it genuinely felt like, caught out, I got caught out again, and it just kind of snowballed then. Yeah. So maybe a mid laner that's a bit more beefy, a bit more able to kind of make mistakes, even small ones.
Yeah, or a hero that has some ways to get out of trouble. If you're going to be caught out like this, you think about heroes like Ember's Bird, right? Sometimes it's hard to burst them down. And if you even have just if you don't have enough lockdown, if you don't have quite enough damage, you can always get the Remnant out to safety. So something like that just limits the impact of the kind of playstyle that Tigers is bringing to bear.
When I look at Tigers draft in the last game, I don't think they need to change anything. Give Raven that hero, he's used to. When I think of Raven, I think of Terrorblade. I think of Lifestealer. These like just farming heroes. They just want to farm, and then
flick the switch and they're ready.
Exactly. Let's go, boys. Let's clean up this game. Let's leave it. And I think they have he's a stand-in, so that's kind of like the perfect position for a stand-in to play almost. He doesn't necessarily need to coordinate too much with his team. The second he has his farm, he can coordinate them to a certain
He can say nothing for 20 minutes, and then he just says, I am ready.
Yeah,
and 1437 says, let's go, guys.
Exactly. Finished farming.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
It's pretty solid. And the pressure they put on the safe lane, you could see how much that affected Signify in their total overall game plan. I just really want to see a mid lane matchup that can do better. So, like for Swifty, for example, D-Drop. Give me some of his heroes. Well, what do you think you should pick up?
I seem to remember, again, that Emma Spirit that I was talking about.
Kunkka's definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, Kunkka, right. Kunkka was a big one. What else have they actually played last time around?
They've played Puck, Lina, Kunkka. Like, Lina is one of his signature heroes.
Yeah.
Puck, Kunkka, two of the bigger ones for him as well. They're all these very, tempo-based playmaking heroes that like to roam into the side lanes or group up as 4 or 5 to make
Show me the Kunkka. Honestly, that's the kind of hero I think could have done wonders for them in that game. Just some more team fight, a beefy kind of frontliner that they kind of lacked pretty heavily. They had Darkseer, but I think Darkseer always wants to follow up with the vacuum wall. He doesn't want to be just running in madly like he was in that game.
The big turnaround potential as well with like a vacuum torrent boat gives you a lot of emphasis in team fights to just bring people down.
Yeah.
And when you have the Lina, Grimstroke, Lich, you're looking to pick off 1 or 2, and Kunkka's so good at grabbing a third, getting that additional kill.
I think if you're going for this, though, you have to ban out the Shadow Fiend. Like, you cannot play that lane. Like, if you get close range raised at any stage, you're kind of just dead, right? And as it looks, Tigers have been kind of heavily favoring the Shadow Fiend. I know D Swordfish and I were talking about it, and he's pretty much played it every single game. Like, if you take away this kind of comfort Greaves carrier that they build their whole strategy around, it could be maybe the straw that breaks the camel's back.
They keep getting away with it, right? I mean, that was the first phase Shadow Fiend, and we were talking about that earlier. But it's not really heavily being punished. I think Swifty had a few extra last hits compared to Dandy, but that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, then again, if you just get rid of the Shadow Fiend, Dandy can just go to any other Greaves character. The Queen of Pain that we were talking about, the Viper that he's also been playing a lot, the Puck. Like, you can't play around all of them.
No, you can't ban all of them either.
Okay, so with that, I think our draft is ready for game number 2 of the semifinals. Signify versus Tigers. I'll throw it over to our casters. Let's go.
All right, it's Cap and Blitz, apparently. Here we are with Tigers versus Signify, ready to take you through the draft. Hope our panel enjoys the break. It's game 2. The draft
We're not
hasn't started
actually
yet.
in the draft yet.
So it's going to be us looking at you guys, which, by the way, hey, you guys have been awesome, by the way. Now, the guys cheering right now, they're pretty good, but you guys who were cheering earlier are awesome. Yeah, that's what real crowd sounds like. That's awesome. I love you guys. Very excited to be here. So what's up?
I don't know.
Blitz just beat me in Mario Party, by the way.
Dominated him.
Really sad about that. That game is incredibly luck-based.
They want you to join the lobby?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
We're ready. Let's start the game.
We go.
Both the players are ready. We're ready.
What do you think Signify needs to do to change up for game 2?
Better
lanes? I mean, I feel like we've been hitting that for the whole tournament. Is that lanes have been pretty rough.
Mm-hmm. I think they need to be ready to team fight better because they had the combo to like win this game. They just like never found any opportunity to execute it. So it just sort of fell flat for the most part.
Yeah.
Everyone just kind of chilled and farmed. You can't really get away with that in this type of game. You have to play a little bit more aggressively, play it a little bit faster. They weren't really able to do that. Hopefully this time around, like they actually take some fights before like the 20-minute mark, because that's really when they took that one fight near that bottom lane, and that was really all that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess starting the draft now.
I know you love doing draft.
Oh, I love it. So we have Nature's Prophet banned out by Signify.
Nature's Prophet, it's a broke support.
Yeah, he is.
I still stand by it. Remember we were doing, what was it, WASG? My 3 supports, Chen, Nature's Prophet, and Oracle. Broke.
Oracle's okay. No one's really picked him here. I think he's been picked once. Well, we saw it in the game with, it was an entity. It was exclamation mark. Exclamation mark picked him once.
Yeah.
All right, so
Look at that handsome man.
yeah, I'm a fan too. Don't worry, guys.
I didn't hear you booing.
I don't think I'm supposed to. I think I'm supposed to stay somewhat impartial. I can't believe Dendy's here. What a trip. Just like turn around. That guy won TI1.
Did you watch the first TI?
I did. I didn't watch the finals. The playback then was really bad.
Yeah, it was. It was also like, if you're on West Coast, it was at like really terrible times and stuff, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I think it was just because people were really unfamiliar with what was going on and they hadn't really had a lot of practice playing.
Yeah.
So it was just a little bit off.
Hey, look at that. Oracle, the other broke support, taken out of the pool. And Chen kind of got nerfed, so I think he's a whatever now.
Mm-hmm. So Signify's going to ban out the Bounty Hunter, which I think is a really good hero just in this game overall. And let's see, Tigers has, what did they pick last time? They opened up with what? Nature's Prophet Lesh or something like that? I think last time around.
Yeah, that sounds right. And then we had Lich Grimstroke on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Bounty Hunter and Ursa, 2 of the like stronger cores right now. Even though the Bounty Hunter game that we casted earlier didn't look very good, didn't look very successful, but there have been Bounty Hunter games in the past where he just kind of looks like a incredibly strong core, does so much damage.
think Bounty Hunter is one of those heroes that, like, when he's good, he's always going to be really good in the meta. Like, he plays really fast.
Yeah.
His scouting ability, like being able to get free wards and stuff like that, is just really nice overall. Like, there's never really any downsides to this hero when he is good.
Yeah.
Especially right now in this meta, like being able to track, set up fights. Like, track's even better now because it doesn't break invis. His move speed, drums is a really good item nowadays. Everyone just runs at like breakneck speeds. So him being able to play at the speed that he does, I think is even more effective. Just a good hero overall. I don't see like a ton of downside when I watch that hero get played.
Now, Blitz, I see a second pick Juggernaut for Signify. Now, I've heard this this dead lane concept a few times. Lifestealer, Juggernaut. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so the way that the dead lane works is you pick these heroes that just can't get pressured and can't die, which sounds ridiculous, but it's true. You've got heroes like Jug and Lifestealer that just can't die. You can't gank them. They always
just go magic immune at any moment.
Yeah, they can always just spin TP, get out for free. So it's sort of a broken concept in that regard.
Enigma, Troll, and Bat Rider. Undying as our last bit of bans. I guess Bat Rider. Why are they afraid of Bat Rider? I mean, Centaur versus Bat Rider is a bad matchup, but they already had Venge to cancel out the Bat initiation.
Not sure.
So it's a little weird. Maybe they just really didn't want that Bat Rider Centaur matchup that I know is really bad in the laning phase. I've been trying to play Bat lately. It's like one of the offlane heroes that I just don't touch. Try to get back into it just because it's kind of making a comeback. The whole boots of travel, first, drums, blink build.
He plays Dota differently than any other hero, Bat Rider.
Yeah,
like
he's super unique.
It's like very heavy on cutting waves when it comes to the late game.
Yeah.
Your initiation matters so much. Like there's so much attention around it because it's single target. You don't really have a ton of AoE, so it means that your first jump matters a lot. And also the way that the hero works, like he's such a dedicated laning hero because his one-off ganks aren't excellent and he needs a lot of farm to be able to get initiations off in the first place, that like he needs a good laning phase. He needs a way to recover back into the game if he doesn't have a good laning phase. You need to constantly cut waves with this hero. You need to farm a lot with this hero. But I actually think he got nerfed in a way with the Firefly duration. Like it barely lasts now. So you can't drag the creep wave into the neutrals like you used to be able to.
Yeah, that is for sure. Terrorblade pickup for Tigers. Night Stalker now for Signify. Night Stalker's kind of curious. So his AoE silence, it's like a really cool idea, and it feels very powerful, but Night Stalker himself, very hit or miss. And I feel like more oftentimes we see him miss.
Night Stalker's just a weird hero just because like it can play very fast, and the new silence is nice, but at the same time, like teams seem to just get whomped before he comes online. Like the hero just doesn't do anything. The first night is kind of useless as a result, and so you're kind of relying on a hero that like just farms for like the first 10 minutes of the game and just chills.
All right, well, it all comes down to the mid lane now for both Tigers and Signify. They both ban away the opposing mid that was in game 1, Lena and Shadow Fiend. But Tigers are going to have the advantage here as they do have the last pick. What do you need to tie this lineup together for Signify? Do you want a harder carry, like OD kind of style hero, or do you want Signify to keep up a very fast tempo?
I'd like them to play some sort of tempo mid, and they in fact do. They take the Kunkka, which I think is a natural counter to the Centaur as well. Just whenever you use your Stampede, he's going to X somebody back.
Isn't that a little bit dangerous, though? Picking a melee mid Kunkka, is there any danger of him getting hardcore counterpicked here?
I'm trying to think of like the heroes that would really crush him. There's like Timbersaw. Who else is there?
We've seen like I don't know how Razor does versus Kunkka.
OD's really dominant.
OD, yeah.
OD crushes him. that's been a lot of people's counters because whoever gets X'd, you can also just Astral out. Like, it's a good lane counter, plus it's a good overall game counter.
Tiger's lineup would be kind of slow with OD Terrorblade. Do you like that duo?
No, I think it is really slow. Like, you need some hero that makes space for the Terrorblade, hopefully. I mean, I could see a team like, what is it, EG do something like that? Because they have 3 space makers on their team. Like Shaman, Centaur, Vend are really good at creating space.
But the way Tigers, especially how we saw them play last game, they definitely had a timing window of like 20 to 30 minutes, and they hit that hard, where they just tried to end the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like their kind of style that they're going to play a little quicker.
You could take something like Monkey or Ursa and just run at him. Oh, but they take TA.
Okay. TA does, I'm presuming, quite well versus Kunkka, right?
You don't really ever get bursted because of Refract. But at the same time, I think like the bonus damage sort of negates each other. Like
Sure.
one side gets bonus damage, the other side gets bonus damage. Like the actual workings of that aren't actually, I mean, it sort of just nullifies. But Kunkka almost always has base, he has some extra base damage. And like you can set up kills on the TA okay. Like her going for the blink dagger and stuff like that isn't that effective.
So what do you think about the TA? If it's not the laning matchup, what do you think it is about the hero that they...
It's good against Jug. Like, you get on top of that hero, you can always chase him down. You can burst him. Like, if you get Deso before he gets Manta, he dies really quickly.
Yeah.
And being able to Roshan, I think, is high on Tiger's priority list. It seems like in the 3 games that they played, that we watched anyways, it was like, go Roshan, push down towers, end the game. They needed some sort of hero, I think, that matched up well against the Kunkka. Like, there's not a lot of options. I mean, we were kind of stumped, right? There's like 3.
Yeah.
They had banned out Ursa themselves, so they were sort of limited to like Monkey, but I think Monkey Terrorblade is a pretty terrible duo.
Yeah. And we've seen Monkey versus Kunkka go bad sometimes, where if you're not dominant enough in the laning phase, then all of a sudden you're going into the mid game, you're susceptible to the X torrent catching you all the time. So there you have it. There's our 5-on-5 lineup. Do you have a favorite for the draft?
I kind of like Signify's lineup. I think that maybe they might get outskilled here, but I do like their lineup. I mean, I liked their lineup last game. I just felt like they sort of misplayed it at times, but I think the core concept of like the way that they draft is okay, at least, as we are going to get into the game number 2 with Tigers up a game already on Signify. So we have tips already flying in.
It does feel like just, Signify this time around, they don't have like that really slow hero in Morphling, right? All 3 of their cores can be very active, and maybe that will allow them to take a little better pace against Tigers. Maybe shake off some of those nerves from game 1. It seemed like there wasn't the same kind of play from Signify that we saw in the group stage.
Swifty says, good luck, have fun, Dondo.
Imagine like many players looking up to Dendi as one of the legends. We got 10 seconds till the bounty runes, so let's get into the game and see how these bounty runes are going to split up. We're going to have the evasion going in. Looks like Tigers.
It's 3 for 1 this time.
3 for 1. Well, better than 4 for 0. We're already seeing a step up for Signify. Going on to the Centaur here with the level 1 Maledict. A lot of damage coming out from that spin. Now, Velo is going to survive, but that's going to cost him a lot of his early regen. Looks like he was shared at Tango even. What support was a loss?
Oh, at bottom lane, you see the tri-lane as Zephyr and 1437 are down here. 1437 opting to not skill the stun. They're just going to try to trade out, try to give their Terrorblade a free lane. I mean, this is going to be the big bad hero that you want to have the best laning phase. I don't think there's any natural counters on the side of Signify for this TB. And I think Tigers recognizes that and says, like, if our TB has a free game, we're probably just going to win this no matter what. Like, what phase of the game this goes to.
On top of that, everybody talks about, like, oh, Night Stalker, you know what he does. He doesn't actually do anything, and every single time it's daytime. But the first 5 minutes of Night Stalker, sure, he has pretty much no kill threat, but his presence in lane for CS is actually not that bad because he's got really good starting stats. He's got high armor, so the harassment against him doesn't actually affect him that much, and he's got pretty high base damage, so he can actually farm pretty well.
And you can already see him right here as he just clicks down Raven, even with the meta. Normally for offlaners, whenever you pop the meta, that's like time to get out.
Yeah.
It's top lane. Velo pulls the creep wave to himself with the level 1 retaliate. He's going to pick up that first wave at least. Going to grab a level 2 with that as well.
I like how that was the trade-off, by the way. They're like, Velo, you're going to have to solo. You're going to have to play 1v2. You're not going to have a support in your lane. But we'll give you 1 extra share tango.
We'll help you out, buddy.
Hope that makes up for the fact that you're just going to have a piss-poor laning phase.
And in this mid lane, Psyblades now starting to come in handy for Dendi as he's going to deal a lot of damage early on as Swifty. Going to pop that healing salve. Dendi not in any position to cancel it. And even though Dendi's losing in CS overall, he's doing a good amount of harass damage as the Torrent's going to fly out into mid lane. Just trying to secure himself the range creep. Secures him most of these creeps.
Good setup there by Dendi. Velo's just going to start cutting the creep wave. We've seen Axes do this, the double stout shield build, and of late, we've seen a lot of Centaurs do this. I actually don't know who popularized it, but I saw it probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. It first started coming
I'm sure this
up.
is like a March thing. He's the one that really liked doing the double stout shield on Axe when you used to be able to creep cut. So that's who I've blamed for this.
Well, they are level 2 for Signify here at this bottom lane. Honestly, the 2 versus 3 is not going that terrible. We've seen the Night Stalker has managed to get 11 CS. That's not bad at all.
No, he's doing fine.
Crowley
still
has
only
even
level
gotten
2.
1 deny in, so.
I'd imagine part of the problem is that neither of the supports do anything top during this pull, and neither of the supports can set up a kill around mid for your TA. Like, Kunkka's so tanky as a hero. It's like base 1000 HP with a bracer.
They rotated Crowley over. All those creeps are so low. If Velo dies here, fortunately he does clean up the creep wave, and he might still be able to get away. He does have a TP scroll. They don't know where he went. Spots him now for a moment. Gets in range of the tier 2 tower, so they should be able to pick up that kill. That's Crowley. Mr. Crowley walks away with the first blood, but very quickly after that, we may see no chance die here as he's body blocked up by 1437. Will end up falling. So 1 for 1, but this time around, it's Signify who get the first blood. Again, things are going better for Signify than game 1. It's got to be nice. Templar Assassin was always kind of known for her efficiency and being able to farm neutrals. Back then it was Ancients, and it still is, of course, but taking the time to get that extra farm from the medium camp, that's just another one of those Radiant advantages.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
The Centaur's still pretty big.
Wait for it.
He's got 14 CS. He's had solo XP during this entire time. Like, he's still having a fine game, if I do say so myself, as Blizzard is running up on him. They're trying to secure the bounty rune, at least one of them.
Tries to juke him out. Crowley actually dying in the bottom lane. There goes our 5-minute spawn. Oh, the cast actually bounces back to Velo, and that may just be enough. The spin, he tries to juke it out, but Blizzard stays hot on his tail, managed to get another swing in, and it looks like the Maledict, it may pop him. It's not quite enough, but he's so low that if Juggernaut just gets 1 or 2 hits in, and it's a big crit. That's what he needed for the kill.
Nice pickup for him. They needed to be able to punish Velo, and that's not a small bounty at all. 0-2-0 now. He was level 4, so the XP that he gets from that kill alone is going to be worth it for him. As if we look towards this middle lane, Dendi right now absolutely dominated, almost solo killed Swifty too, and they're going to come in, try to set up a kill on a Swifty, who does have the boat.
He's so
in fact, he's going to turn it around.
He's going to try and go for the kill on his Zephyr, and I think he may have it too.
Oh.
A big hit.
Guy's got 1000 HP. You're not killing him easily. He's got boat.
I feel like everybody makes that mistake once against Kunkka. You think you can go on that guy, and And then you realize, oh yeah, he's got pretty good armor, but incredibly high HP.
Yeah, and in mid lane, Dendi continuing to hang around, even does get
It's
one
gonna
of the
bounce
side
the siege
blades.
creep and will go back if this torrent lands, but Dendi had already sidestepped it.
They need a sentry for mid.
Yeah.
They can't really deal with
Whoa, what is
the
that
spam.
range? Barely caught the Witch Doctor, but barely is enough for
Oh.
Dendi and him to
over
get
here
the
as
kill.
Crowley has found Zephyr, who doesn't have mana and doesn't have a TP for this as well, and this is going to be a free kill for the Rubik. Does get the wand off, needs one more hit.
Fade Bolt, he could just keep chasing. One more second as long as he's in vision. Zap. Crowley gets vengeance for his earlier death.
And Venge going to pick up some more to himself as they look
Radiant's
towards
middle
bottom lane. The
tower is
TB
under attack.
getting relatively uncontested farm, but so is No Chance, who already almost up to level 5. Probably not really going to be able to do anything with the levels that he has gotten, as this is sort of the thing that happens with Night Stalker, but starting to put pressure on a Raven. Crowley could get in range for this. Maybe they get a kill. He does get the nuke off. No Chance does
Trying
not
to
want
be
to go for
under
the dive.
tower with that magic missile. No Chance actually gives up on the chase, even though Raven was so low.
Yeah, now Crowley looking to try to sandwich 1437, but not really going to be able to do anything here as Dendi being protected in this mid lane.
Radiant's top tower
We see
is
Zephyr's
under
just been
attack.
waiting around here, hoping that they make an attempt onto his TA.
Look at this stack, Zephyr.
Wait for it.
He knows who's going to
Radiant's
carry this
top
game.
tower is under attack.
1437 trying to juke his way through the trees. Looks like they're going to be giving up on this lane as our Terrorblade has gone jungle at this point, and with our Vengeful Spirit dead, we're going to start getting some damage on that tier 1. But that's one of the advantages of running a Terrorblade, right? You could just jungle very efficiently. So getting kicked out of your lane is not that big of a deal. Swifty cruising on
Dire's
through
middle
with his
tower
haste
is
rune.
under attack.
He's going to come in from behind, spot Zephyr. There you go. That's the kill he was looking for. He looked for somebody. Pulls him back in and managed to get the torrent position, so they still managed to get the hit. But there goes that centaur ult, and maybe Zephyr. He did not take a whole lot of damage after that Maledict, so he may survive. It's going to
he's
be a little
fine.
close, but he'll drop down to about 20 HP.
Somebody got real hyped.
That ward behind the tier 1 tower that was placed earlier probably spotted at least part of this smoke. And we're going to have a fight over it. It looks like Raven and 1437 are not going to give up this bottom bounties so easily. Or at least I thought they weren't. Maybe they're just here to farm some easy camps. No, Dandy's actually going to come in from the side, but they do have the darkness. No Chance already taken so much damage. The boat's going to come in, but from the side, Zephyr in the river with the beautiful shackles. Locks down that Night Stalker long enough. So good pickoff.
Dire's
And
top
how many
tower
bounty
is
runs
under
did we
attack.
actually get swapped around? It looks like Signify were the ones to walk away.
Oh, Blizzard thought about
3 of
using
them
the
this
ulti,
time.
but Velo just going to get himself out of there. With the TP, drags the
No,
creeper
Dandy
away.
in trouble, but Crowley, he's the one getting banged on by Raven. Raven just took so much damage from Swifty there. He's got to be a little bit careful of the Tidebringer hits.
They're still looking around the area though, and maybe if they got a good swap, but 1437 with not a ton of mana. In fact, they're just going to back out. Dendi, wait for your boy. No. So they're immediately going to go for the smoke. There's no ward vision that spotted this. I'd like to see them go towards mid, collapse around that vision that they have, and take the tower. You can see that they already have that pre-placed ward. Very well done as Stampede's going to come in. 1437 opens up on the Witch Doctor. Any more heroes as Zephyr does get this disable off, but Blizzard comes in now.
Oh, what a beautiful telekinesis toss into 2. That was a great setup, and now with the Centaur Stampede that they stole away on the Rubik, they're going to be able to chase down the rest of these heroes. That's going to be an Omni-Slash fitting of the Centaur, and No Chance will keep on trying to run down 1437, cut down by Mr. Crowley.
And they might even get Dendi here as Swifty's looking for it. He's going to throw down the blind torrent, and he gets
Dendi?
the sentry off. He wants the X. Where's the rest of his team? Everyone's starting to flood in. Mr. Crowley's on his way.
Radiant's middle tower is under
He's
attack.
stolen the side traps as Dendy's still in vision. Needs some sort of backup.
Oh, Serpent Wards, a good shackles too, but Blizzard keeps on running down. Dendy tries to hide, but it's no hiding from this Juggernaut. Looks like Swifty's still gonna get out too, managed to get his way through those Serpent Wards. Signify, they didn't believe Swifty at first when he said, I've got Dendy, keep going, but they showed up eventually and do get that kill.
Did my man just bring his own sentry to the fight?
He
I'm
did.
pretty sure that's what I saw.
He dropped his own sentry
That is
against
how
that TA.
you win in Dota 2, is by having your own sentries ready for moments like that. That leads to such a big kill. That was the Shaman
Dire's
wards that were
middle
committed
tower
too.
has fallen.
They lose the mid tower though, as Velo just kind of sneaks on by. Crowley's got his own set of psionic traps now that Tigers have to worry about.
Now, the Ancient stack was still farmed up by Tigers, but a lot of it was actually going
Radiant's
to
middle
the
tower
Serpent
is
Wards
under
there.
attack.
So Dendy did not get the full bulk of that gold that he was hoping for. And as a
Radiant's
result,
bottom tower
he's actually
is
a little
under
bit farther
attack.
down there in the net worth. Not quite hitting the 5K marker, still ahead of the Kunkka, but both him and Terrorblade are far behind Blizzard's Juggernaut.
Yeah, it's Raven's gonna beat into this
Radiant's
tier 1
bottom
tower.
is under attack.
TPing in, they actually want to defend this, and they will do it. But
Swifty, by the way, went for an urn this game.
well, that's interesting.
Radiant's bottom tower has been denied.
I was gonna say that rotation's gonna feel a little bad unless they catch somebody, but they do. They find Zephyr,
Torrent.
almost catch the Terrorblade as well.
Yeah, they don't have the juggle though,
Radiant
so
structures
they're gonna be a
are
little bit more
fortified.
hesitant about going for that. Now it looks like Swifty
Radiant's
going for
top
this
tower
early
is
item
under
build,
attack.
going for the Spirit Vessel to start.
Is Spirit Vessel that good this game?
I mean, it's nice against a lot of those heroes. It pairs up well with the Witch Doctor Maledict too.
Yeah,
Makes him a lot tankier as well.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
it's an interesting idea. I mean, if your Night Stalker's not going for it, somebody's got to get a vessel. It's always kind of one of those items you got to have. 1437, look at that. Swifty actually immediately saw 1437. We've already caught him. Let me go ahead and X somebody else up, and that's going to be our Centaur. Caught out. 1437 is going to be run down as well eventually.
Dire's bottom
They're gonna
tower
take this
is
tower
under
now, too.
attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
It seems like Tigers, instead of trying to
Dire's
defend that
bottom
one,
tower
Dendy's
is
just
under
going to go
attack.
for the push at bottom lane, and we'll be able to secure the last hit.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Blizzard in fact TP's
Radiant's top
in, and
tower is under attack.
Dendy's
Radiant's
around
top
here.
tower
I
has
don't really
fallen.
think they have the damage unless Blizzard decides to go to the left side. He'd have to walk into the Shaman's arms.
Yeah.
And that's what Zephyr's trying to bank on. But Blizzard's looking like he's wise to this movement. But he might just walk up this hill right now with
Zephyr
Zephyr.
is going to be able to get that shackles. Dendy's not too far away. Can they get the burst damage? Can they actually pull him down in time? It's close, but not enough. Blizzard does manage to scurry away, but no chance. The Stampeder's already been used. They couldn't get away fast enough. Can they get this torrent?
Torrent!
In time? The torrent! He lands just in time. No TP out. No escape for Dendy.
Swifty. And every single time, this man's just a monster right now. It's another pickoff. In 2-0 and 6, he's been a large part of his team's momentum. Every single time, this guy's been finding somebody as they have doubled up on kills. The bad news for them is that the Terrorblade is using this time to just absolutely free farm.
Yeah.
And Velo is going to grab this tower for free.
Dire's
He's
top
going to get
tower
out for his
has
troubles
fallen.
too.
Hanamitis build for our Night Stalker. That's kind of interesting. So he said, I'm not going the urn. Somebody else get it. So Kunkka goes ahead and volunteers. He said, I'll get Spirit Vessel. Don't worry about it.
Radiant's middle tower is
And
under
he
attack.
says, instead, I'll get Hanamitis, and I'm
Dire's
going to try and turn it
structures
into
are fortified.
a right-clicking hero, which is kind of the way that it seems like Ice Frog wants Night Stalker to go, with the way that they changed the darkness to give him extra right-click damage. So we'll see whether or not the power of the right-click Night Stalker is able to win this game for Signify. Blizzard forces Zephyr. TP out. Now he's looking at a Radiance. Whoa, what is this? I thought all Kunkas got Radiances. That's been the trend so far.
I mean, Swifty looks like he's going to go for Spirit Vessel into BKB. I'd imagine the Jug told him, I'm going to get the Radiance, so he swerved his item build.
So Swifty just keeps on swerving back and forth. He's picking up whatever items that
Radiant's
that
middle
his
tower is
teammates
under attack.
allow him to go for. Do you agree with the Radiance build for Jug?
I mean, I don't love it. I've tried it before.
Yeah.
It sounds, in theory, I think, a lot better than it works in practicality.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Oh, Night Stalker. Look at him. He's stalking Raven right now, and he finds him here. Dark Ascension into the high ground. And there it is, the X to counter the Stampede. Raven falls, and Signify take full control of the map here. Zephyr trying to get a cheeky little push here at bottom lane, but Crowley will deal with it while the rest of his team starts heading towards mid lane.
Man, I told you, Signify's draft. I
Looking
liked it
good.
better in game 1 as well, but they got wrecked. So I thought it might have been a skill thing, but I mean, Swifty on Kunkka, I guess that was a change that they needed to make.
Invisibility.
Plus, he's going for the BKB. Obviously, the new Sunder change, you can't Sunder targets that are BKB'd.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way in a party game.
Wait, you didn't know about that?
I did not. Not ashamed to admit it. As
Fellow
Swifty,
going to be found here with a Maledict already laid out onto him. A good stop, but he can't really get away unless that swap can actually save him. They're not going to try and kill him. They're instead can't even kill 1437 because that TA trap slows him down so much. And look at Zephyr coming in for the back line. The Coco is going to come in, but that ship is not going to change a damn thing. This is going to be a one fight for Tigers. It's just a question of how many heroes of Signify are going to die. And it looks like it's only going to be the two.
yeah, the Witch Doctor and the Night Stalker, not bad grabs. The Witch Doctor, not worth too much, but the Night Stalker did have his Midas up off cooldown.
Yeah.
So it's at least going to be a little bit annoying for him to not be on the field right now.
That's mental damage right there.
Exactly.
You,
As
just,
Insania
you
would
think
say.
about it, your entire death, you're like, damn it,
Could be Midasing right now, bro.
I could be Midasing something. Look at our beautiful crowd here. 8 to 15, 19 minutes in. A little bit of a setback here for Signify. But fortunately for them, they are not reliant on any super long cooldowns. I mean, I guess Dark Ascension is actually pretty long, but other than that,
Radiant structures
I think the
are
problem with
fortified.
Tigers' lineup is I don't know when the timing of they're gonna
Found
find
him.
Crowley here. I don't know when Dendy and this TV like how they work together
yeah.
in terms of like what they want to
So we
do.
could not let you live.
I mean, especially since part of the reason you brought up TAs that you said, you know, Tigers seems to be very reliant on getting those early Roshans to build their game into that 20, 30-minute snowball. And with total control of the map, as we can see here, the moment Velo tries to step over that mid-line, he gets punished immediately. They have no room to Roshan on Tigers, that's for sure.
Is that bottom lane?
Dire's bottom tower is under
Dendy with the
attack.
help of the Shaman, they're just gonna get this tower for free. He's opted not to go for the Desolator.
Dire's bottom
fact-
tower has fallen.
Yeah, what is this Dragonlance build?
I'd imagine that he thinks he needs more space against the Kunkka, but BKB just does the same job but better.
Yeah. And I would think you would still want the Deso because they're pretty much playing a split push game right now.
Yeah.
Like, it is working. Tigers is not that far behind. Signify, despite having almost twice the amount of kills as Tigers, is only up by 1,000 net
I mean,
worth,
he's got
and that's all
Deso
the split
plus.
push.
He's got Deso. He's got the Ogre Axe too.
Oh, he does have Deso?
Yeah.
So it looks like he just picked that one up off of the Courier.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, Dendy's Mega 4.
Yeah, that would have made no sense. Because he's had a relatively free game.
Yeah.
He's like second or third in net worth.
So you think, like, is that an assumption that he's going to be able to get the Force Staff, dodge Torrent, or at least dodge the boat when he gets pulled back by X?
I think it's really nice just as a save for his team too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think BKB is really necessary for him as TA, this is what they wanted. Get the early Roshan paired up with the Vengeful Spirit. They're going to get the Aegis onto Dendi, and this is where, if you're Tigers, you hope to make some more room on the map, get a little bit more control.
Yeah.
But big item pickup here for Blizzard, as he does get the Radiance now. I think with this item, you probably want to take all the fights that you can, which is a little bit counterintuitive because Tigers did just pick up the Aegis, but I think you still probably feel like you're stronger in team fights. Though that may change with the Terrablade's BKB pickup.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Manta for
Dire's
Blizzard.
top tower is under attack.
And so it looks like Signify are not trying to take a fight right now. They're giving up a lot of objectives,
Dire's
though,
structures are
by
fortified.
saying they're not going to fight.
Dire's top
Tigers,
tower
okay,
is under
never mind.
attack.
Maybe I lied. They actually are going to go for it here. Looks like that tier 2 is still going to fall, but if they can catch
Dire's top
Tigers
tower is
unawares as they try and make their way back, what is that? A torrent lands on a 1437, stopping his TP. The stomp. Okay, that's going to be pretty good. They managed to control up the TA, swap back there onto the Night Stalker. Dendi turning, trying to go for Crowley, but actually misses there. And now Dendi, with no refraction, is getting torn apart, but he does manage to get one kill, and the support that's actually turning might be able to kill Blizzard as well. That's the Radiance out of here, and the Kunkka struggling on damage. Can't actually finish up Dendi just yet. He's dodging, trying to go for the Witch Doctor now. Finally does lose that first life. Can they get him a second time here? They've wiped out almost everybody else here. Only the Terrorblade was able to get back. Dendi not able to make alive with the second flight, but at least he'll be able to kill the Witch Doctor.
Dodges the
Torrent,
torrent.
that's gonna miss. Maybe this next round of fraction, 7 seconds to go. They don't actually have the detection. Dendi pops out, tries to go for the kill, and the Night Stalker couldn't get him.
And I think that's an overall win probably for Signify. Like, they do manage to get the kill on a Dendi. They kill him twice.
Yeah.
They pop the TB, BKB, at least a 10-second one. I mean, I don't even think that's that bad for them. The biggest part is that they lost Blizzard, but you can see that the TB just isn't that scary at this point. He's not dealing enough damage. Like, he can be tanky for all he wants, but with Yasha and drums, like, the Kunkka just sort of sits there. He's got Crimson Guard.
That's also a problem playing against Kunkka, right? With the ship coming in, the 50% damage reduction.
Yeah, this time around, they're not going to have Dendi's Aegis to be able to just frontline and all in on that Juggernaut this time. Like, he'll get punished for that movement. They need to figure out a way to isolate the Kunkka from the rest of his team. Because right now, Scrifty's just playing 5-on-5 Dota. He's not easy to burst, so it makes it really difficult for them to just, like, catch and go.
They just keep on getting these pickoffs. They are going to have the Metamorphosis coming in from the side. Raven tries to go for Crowley. That Crimson Guard is doing so much, but eventually Rubik does die. Immediately buys back. The other support will go down. That's going to be the Witch Doctor. A BKB was used for that, but it got them 2 support kills and a buyback out of the Witch Doctor. Tigers, or excuse me, Signify did get 2 support kills of their own. And it is now nighttime. No Aegis, nighttime up, Signify. There's any time to take over the game, it's got to be right now.
Yeah, and Dendi's, in fact, going to go for the Hurricane Pike. Really feel like BKB is probably the better item chance for him to go for. Just because I think if you have BKB, you can't really die on that TA anymore. Like, you see that even the Night Stalkers prioritized it.
Are scanning.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower
Basher's
is under
second
attack.
item, or third for the Night Stalker. Trying to make use of all that attack speed he's getting.
They probably really want to take use of this timer too.
Yeah.
I think if you're the Night Stalker at this point, you're telling your team, like, it's nighttime right now, guys. We can take a fight.
$14.37, man, he is having such a rough time. Every single time he shows up, it's an X-Torrent combination. Fortunately, he doesn't die to this one. Dendi buys a double damage rune, maybe. Will Tigers try and take advantage of this small window and take a fight, or are they just going to play scared under this nighttime? That gold lead is building bit by bit for Tigers. Signify a minute and a half into this nighttime window. Really need to find a strong fight and take some objectives. You're gonna go up into the high ground here. TA Trap will reveal that Night Stalker.
Radiant's middle tower
Tigers
is
just
under
playing
attack.
hyper defensive
Radiant structures are fortified.
and letting the Shadow Shaman just kind of run down lanes. Crimson Guard will stall the destruction of this tier 2 tower, but eventually will go down.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But how do you break high ground?
Radiant's middle tower
Big
has
question
fallen.
for Signify.
I think it's really hard to just go for the straight up high ground. Like, they have enough ways to spam out. TA can just place down traps, cut waves. It's not an easy proposition for them. And now you've got a PKB completed on the Shadow Shaman too. So the amount of physical damage on the side of Signify isn't so immense that he can't just fully sit in BKB, get his shackles off. The Jugs decided to go for the Radiance. You have this Kunkka who's gone for this weird hybrid catch utility build, which kind of supposes that this Juggernaut's going to carry him, but I mean, I don't know how this build at least scales into the late game.
It's a weird assumption to make, right? Just because the TA Terrorblade matchup against the Juggernaut is going to be
They know they're up there.
difficult to hard carry.
They placed a ward.
Look at Swifty, he's just going to go, all right, I know you guys are up there. Try and pop a smoke.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
His top lane being
Dire's
pushed out.
middle tower is under attack.
And Signify's in this really weird spot where I feel like they can win team fights.
Oh, the sentry was already laid out. The Night Stalker gets caught. He does have a BKB, but he doesn't get the chance to pop it. And now Signify, oh no! Blizzard gets shackled up. He's
save
already
him?
going to be dying here as Raven just lays into him. The boat comes in, but it's a bit too late. Signify, they have to retreat out of this one. Fortunately, Velo does go down. Signify got something out of all of that, but a nasty team fight for them and a nightmare situation. Losing a fight on their side of the map means easy objectives for Tigers.
Yeah,
Dire's
that's...
middle tower is under attack.
They even used the buyback for that, thinking like the fight would
Dire's middle
continue.
tower has fallen.
And Raven looks like he wants to continue to press forward. Just going to send his illusions. Wants to make use of this meta. The buyback from Negi, as they're at least going to hold for the time being. But, I mean, you see how disastrous these fights can go. The Shaman, they had no real way to cancel him in his BKB. He got a full duration shackles off onto the Juggernaut. Juggernaut doesn't really have any sort of backup, so they just kind of sat there. The funniest part too is like they knew they had vision on that high ground and everyone was up there, but they decided to take the fight anyways.
I mean, no chance just, you know, picks up this Invis rune and he's thinking, you know, I can go and scout things out. Maybe we can finally find a fight worth having.
We rely not upon fortune.
We didn't even mention
They got
I mean,
nothing off, by the way.
They lost that team fight during night, so.
Yeah. They actually lost nothing there. The Jug didn't get time to get his Manta off, didn't get Spin, didn't get ulti off. No BKB.
Well, you wanted BKB for Dendi. And even though he went Hurricane Pike first, they won some fights, and now that late magic immunity item is coming in.
Dire are scanning.
And Signify are rapidly running out of opportunities here.
Radiant's bottom tower
Right,
is
Jug
under
trying to
attack.
go for full crowd control builds here, trying to get as much AoE damage. Radiance, Maelstrom, presuming Mjolnir is going to be a pickup, but no itemization really changes the Terrorblade versus Jug matchup that much, right?
I think if he had gone for like No Fury plus like a standard item build, maybe. It's Velo. I mean, he's been the whipping boy for this game. Whenever anybody finds him, he just dies.
Seems like Velo and Zephyr, like their game plan is pretty straightforward. They're the ones running down lanes, killing creeps, pushing towers. Good pick off there.
Your death was a
Witch Doctor goes down, and hey, look at that. Roshan's up. We've popped Metamorphosis. That is going to be an easy Roshan number 2, unless Signify find a way inside the pit. They're going to go for it now. The boat's going to come in. It's going to be a little bit too late, though. Agent's already been picked up, and now Blizzard trying to spin in, goes for Zephyr. Yeah, they'll will be able to kill him. No chance. Drops a little low. He will be able to get back. They're just focusing on everyone else outside of Raven at this point. No chance. Oh, no. Raven doesn't manage to get that kill. Great Lotus Orb from Swifty. What a beautiful reaction by him that allows them to take the first life away from the Terror play.
Yeah, Swifty's hanging around this area. The Jug gonna spin.
Oh, he gets him again! Swifty doesn't stop. Now he's gonna grab Raven, pull him right back in, gets that kill.
That is
oh,
so
Velo,
sick.
You want some too, don't you? Another X ready
That's
to
an
go
arcane
for
rune
you.
Kunkka.
Unbelievable Swifty. Oh, Torrent not gonna land on Velo. He does manage to get away with that Force Staff. Trying to catch up to him, not going to make it in time as those TA traps slow down the pursuit. Still, though, what a beautiful fight for Signify. I thought that was going to be a disaster.
It should have been.
That Roshan dies and BKB is popped. And
Part of it, too, is that they were able to
find.
finally get on top of the Shaman.
Yeah.
Zephyr pops his BKB, and they all in-focused him. All 3 cores just were like, yeah, I mean, if one of us focuses you, you probably don't die, but like if all 3 of us just hit you with our BKB timings, there goes all of your post-BKB disable.
I thought Blizzard was insane. When he just like spun and ran in, going onto the Shadow Shaman right in the middle.
Oh, no,
of,
for
like,
sure it was a
TA,
crazy move.
And I was like, what is going on? But Signify apparently had it all planned out. And now, I mean, still a net worth lead for Tigers, but Signify definitely showing that they can win team fights even against an Aegis. And that next nighttime is coming in 1 minute time, especially with Dark Ascension being up in 5 seconds. They could pretty much play like it's nighttime right now if they wanted to smoke and try and go for something here. A big upgrade in damage there, that level 20 talent, especially with the attack speed he already has off of his passive as well as the Hand of Midas.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, I mean, we sort of have a series here as Swifty. I criticized the item build earlier because I didn't really know what direction it felt like he was going in, but the fact that he got the Lotus Orb off not just once, but twice was insane.
Yeah.
And by going for this build too, the Reflect doesn't really do anything to him.
Oh, that's true.
He just doesn't really get hit back.
Yeah, he just
Bottom
dispels
attack.
it. Oh, no.
Oh,
All right, well.
it's only the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, it's a Witch Doctor. No big deal.
The majority of this net worth lead comes in the form of the cores, by the way. Or in the form of the supports. Like, the Shaman is so far ahead of anybody, and the Witch Doctor is just so far behind, so this 4K gold lead is a little bit misleading.
Yeah.
A lucky find.
It looks like Tigers, I like what they're doing. They're constantly pushing in the lanes. What that does is it gives you more chances, because even if you saw Signify wins a team fight, they have to push out the lanes right back before they can get anything. So they're not getting any towers out of this, and they're not grabbing any greater objectives. By playing on the enemy side of the map, it is a little bit more dangerous, but you're offering yourself more opportunities.
What do you think about the
Dire's
Daedalus
top
build
tower is
for
under
our
attack.
Terrorblade? Set his way to try and just cut people down faster?
I guess so. I wasn't really sure when I saw it. I feel like Butterfly was probably the item. I feel like it gives Terrorblade. Oh, another Lotus Orb.
The Lotus Orbs! What is Swifty doing to Tigers?
He's on the hunt right now. They want to try to get more out of this,
Dire's top tower has fallen.
but with the
How did
top
he make
tower
that
being
read
taken,
so fast?
I mean, he's so quick.
Invisibility.
No chance.
Okay.
Gonna make his way on a Raven. He wants him to try to force the BKB.
Oh, he managed to get a bash at a perfect timing for it. Can they actually lock
He's
it down?
gone.
Unbelievable! What a timing for a bash. Witch Doctor
But
is going to
Dendi-
die to the TA. BKB. Oh, another one! No chance! He is going to be locked down here with the Serpent Ward's doing so much damage to him. And the other Hex is coming up, but he actually couldn't get it in time. No chance. Is he going to get away from the Serpent Wards in time? It's a little close, but he
That's
does
four
manage
heroes
to get
down.
away.
Dendi
Dire's
does
top
manage to pick up,
barracks
I
are
think,
under
2 kills
attack.
in the back line, but still another team fight win for Signify. And that all starts with that Lotus Orb. The swap back.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, 1437's not really sure what's going on. He's sort of just in no man's land. He dies. They immediately go for the chase, which is, if you get any sort of 4-on-5 opportunity in this game, just chase it down. Run at people. That's the thing that Kunkka does best, is he is going to catch stragglers. And that's happened time and time again. As the TB wasn't even able to pop his cheese.
We are seeing exactly what you're talking about, though. Tigers, they had all the lanes pushed in. They were playing on the enemy side of the map. They lose a fight, but Signify were not able to immediately go into high ground. There's still another 20 seconds left on the Death Timers. With Glyph going out, they may be able to hold off and not be forced into any buybacks here. It's probably going to cost them at least in tier 3.
They're definitely not going to buy back with 10 seconds left. But they are going to lose a Rax here potentially for this as...
Mello tries to go in, slow down some of this damage, gets caught by the X though. Torrent goes out, but they can't get close. They want to just back away, got the melee Rax. Good enough.
Yeah, and they leave the illusions behind to cover their tracks. As Blizzard going for this really interesting build themselves. The Mjolnir into the Shivas.
Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack.
I mean, I guess that's one way to deal with the illusions.
Yeah.
Also, it's good against the physical damage
Radiant's
that both the
bottom
TB
shrine
and
has fallen.
the TA put out.
I'm down. I mean, because he can't go AC. That was already the item for the Kunkkas, so. And
Dyer's
they
top
already have a
shrine
Lotus
is under
Orb, so they've
attack.
actually got all 3 of the armor items and a Crimson. All the plate mail items are there.
They're all armored up. And this is
Dyer's
the upside
top
for going for this
shrine
all
has
plate mail
fallen.
build on the Kunkka.
Yeah.
He's just so tanky. Nobody kills him. Good against the Deso TA.
Very unique itemization in this game for Signify, and it may just allow them to pull a win here in Game 2 against Tigers. They've gotten the melee Rax.
Lift was used there, no
Can't
chance.
afford the pick off here. They are going to get swapped back immediately. BKB, no chance. It's going to be okay. They can't get the lockdown there. They did not get the swap into instant disable.
And they're looking for it right now. It's no chance. He's got the gem. He's got to be a little bit careful here as Tigers, they're sticking around, but they're about to get sandwiched on as 1437 was looking for the stun. He's going to get hit by the Torrent. This is probably going to trigger Signify to just run at them as Dendi in the middle of everything.
A little bit of trouble. Dendi tries to go for him. Doesn't manage to burst down that Night Stalker. The boat's going to come in. Raven, laying some damage. Long range Shackle does actually catch Blizzard, but Swifty just charges forward, managed to get the 2-man Torrent. That disrupts so much damage. Now the Omni Slash hang on to Raven. Raven needing a little bit of help. 1437 throws his life on the line to try and help out Raven, who now turns after getting X marks the spot back
He's
into
done.
his team, but he can't do anything. He is dead.
Another
And
X.
now another one. That's going to be an X marks the spot. DJ Khaled just can't stop Zephyr. He's going to get picked off as well. Unbelievable. Signify.
The devil to pay.
I mean, Swifty's having the game of his life right now. He's 8-0-20. The item build that he decided to go for, I mean, I was questioning it 10 minutes ago, but I guess they don't really need damage. They just need the utility, the lockdown. They're recycling things over and over again. The BKB charges are getting really low, so the build is really starting to come online now.
That should help.
I mean, if you can literally just frame perfect, pop your Lotus Orb every single time,
I guess that's the way
it's
to
a
do
pretty
it.
strong item that way.
It's pretty fantastic when you get to counter everything repeatedly. You notice that Raven's not even chancing using it on anybody on Signify's side anymore. He's just using it for his teammates. He's like, I'm not getting it off anymore on any of you guys. I give up. The Lotus Orb's too good.
All right. So
Radiant's
Swifty is going to
bottom
start
tower
building
is
into some
under attack.
damage. He has the AC, got the
Radiant's
Strength
bottom
talent
tower
as
has
well as the
fallen.
Cleave bonus for Talent 25.
I kind of like the Ghost Ship fleet, especially with these really low BKBs.
Yeah,
it's
I
kind of
like
neat.
it too.
It's really disruptive in fights.
But that for me says he wants a big damage item next.
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
Probably
Are we-
Daedalus, right?
Daedalus? Okay. No chance of Divine?
I don't think they're in that position where they're behind or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, if they were maybe like 20k gold behind, but they're actually up 2. And this is...
That's a dangerous talent, by the way. 1.5 second meld hit bash for the TA.
Yes. Just adds another layer of disable. Really good to open up on. because they just need like half a second to be able to get on heroes like no chance before his BKB. Like imagine if Dendi has that talent up at top, he gets the bash off, he's not able to pop the BKB, they flood in, they're already right in front of Rax.
Our Terrorblade just needs a sliver of experience, and he'll have his level 25 as well, I'm presuming. Oh, we're not going to see it. He actually went for the attack range instead of the Sunder cooldown.
I think it's in response to what's happened to him this game so far.
You think the Lotus Orb is
yeah,
in his head?
I think
just
it's
like,
in his head
I can't
right now.
do it? Because the Lotus Orb has a shorter cooldown than
Radiant's
Sunder.
top shrine is under attack.
Or Sunder with the cooldown talent is lower than the...
I think he's actually just like his head screwed with right now. They're looking towards Roshan. Tigers, I mean, make no mistake about it, they can still win this game. They have good heroes, they've got ways to do it. But with their mid tower being taken like this, Signify should just retreat, be together as 5. They should 100% know right now, by the way, that Tigers are smoked up. Like, this is silly for them to do this when they see that mid tower is being taken like this. But they're going to commit for it. I mean, I feel like this is a
dangerous. What a stomp from Fellow. Dendi coming in, getting the side blades hits onto 2 as well. Oh no! What a disaster for Signify. Swifty tries to get out. The swap goes down. 14:37 once again. Denied that one. No chance of going to go for the back line. Look at him just ripping apart these supports, but he just can't stand against the physical damage. Another meld hit bash from Dendi. Buybacks coming in, but they don't have the Night Stalker. He has no buyback. And it's looking like...
It's a 4-on-4. Blizzard trying to send his illusions in. Unfortunately for him, doesn't really have a way to get vision in there. Raven is all in committing for this. He doesn't have BKB as Crowley gets in the middle of everything. Steals meta himself.
Blizzard takes a little bit of damage. Reflection going down. Dendi force staffs up into the high ground. Great play by him as Blizzard is loaded up, and he got the healing ward. Very important as the Kunkka goes down as
That's
well.
Swifty.
That is now a lot of your control gone, and it looks like Tigers, Crowley, oh, he just wants a steal out of this, but Roshan wasn't dead yet.
I can't believe they made that play. They had this game. Deciding to go for that, especially when you see... So what was the dead giveaway in this is you see creeps hitting mid racks, nobody's defending it.
Yeah.
That should signal something in your head like, guys, this is really weird. Absolutely nobody's mid lane. They've been gone for like 30 seconds.
Free damage.
Yeah, nobody lets you get free racks.
Ranged racks.
It's just information that you've given away for free too. It's like,
yeah.
Well, they're not pushing out this mid lane. They haven't been for the past 30 or 40 seconds. What could possibly be happening?
Yeah.
Let's just hit this Roshan. Not even as 5. Like, they didn't have Crowley there either. They're just like, guys, just hit Roshan. It's fine. Everything will be okay.
On top of that, they all react late. The Centaur Stomp is not instant.
Yes.
None of them got off their
The fact
BKBs.
that he was able to get in, hit all 3 of them. They didn't get the spin off. They didn't get the BKB. He got bursted. That's so rough.
And now this is going to be a very different team fight.
They've got Aegis plus the Refresher Centaur ulti. So he's got the double Aghanims on him.
Yeah. A lot of damage reduction. That means Juggernaut's going to have a hard time getting a good Omni Slash in this game.
This is going to be a free set of racks now. Dendi now comes in. They're together as 4. Huge strength in numbers right now. Raven's going to send his illusions up to that top lane. They wrest back control of this game. It is now 12,000 gold. I mean, not even 3 minutes ago, Signify were winning this game.
Yeah.
They were up 3,000 gold. Looked like they were going to cruise. All they had to be, I mean, patience is the name of the game. Tigers, that wasn't like a well thought out smoke. That was like a desperation smoke.
Yeah.
They didn't push out their mid lane. They're like, guys, we just have to do something. Just run a Roshan, see what happens.
They're thinking in their heads, Aegis, Cheese, Refresher Shard. Like, we can't give up all that. And it worked for Tigers. That top barracks is still alive, but double damage. They're actually turning and fighting here. Raven, oh no, Raven actually takes so much damage there is going to be swap back. He's going to be okay for now. Dendi forced to use his BKB as the boat comes in, but an X goes down and actually turns around, does manage to get this under this time. Swifty couldn't get out that reflection fast enough, but Raven, he's popped his BKB. As long as no chance to get caught here, what a steal! Crowley, he stolen the swap, managed to save no chance, and now they can pursue once again, and all these sides has already taken out Dendi, and it's away onto Raven as well. He's dropped so low and he's dead. That's going to be an Aegis down. Dendy trying to force Staff, get himself away from this Kunkka. Kunkka takes a bit of damage there. Raven
they
now
kite
upping
Raven.
The Metamorphosis just kite him.
He doesn't have
Signify
BKB.
Can win this fight. There's no magic immunity here. They just got to bide their time. They're actually going to back up here. A little bit too scared of Raven.
Yeah,
They
that was
may be
all the
losing
buybacks
support
used.
for it.
They use all the buybacks on the side of Tigers to try to back up their Terrorblade, which I think is the right play. Don't let them just die outside in no man's land.
Yeah.
But a Juan team fight for Signify, who don't have buybacks of their own. They don't have any ultis to work with either. Still have to be a little bit cautious here.
Is
But-
Tigers going to go for it?
I think so. You know it's a 4-on-5. Use your buybacks for this too. This was Raven's meta committed as well as the BKB popped in on no chance. It's going to get X brought back.
to the boat. There's going to be swap coming down from 1437. Now he gets the BKB off. Turns around on no chance. Steals a bit of his health with the Sunder and finishes him off thanks to the hold of the Shackles. Now a 3 versus 5, but there is a buyback on the Night Stalker. Nice bounce back there, but BKB was activated by Dendy in
Swift is
time.
gone.
He managed to make sure he does not get controlled.
They're trying to find
chase
something. They're
forward.
still together as 5 right now on Tigers. They're strong. They're going to leave 1437 behind, but they've lost their top racks to the creep wave during this entire time. It's a 4-on-4 fight.
Can no chance actually catch up with anybody. Doesn't look like it.
It would have been such a big pickoff if they could have gotten one of the cores that had used buyback there. I'd imagine that just propels them into going down mid lane, but instead things are going to get reset a little bit. This top lane is being mauled. Signify have to come back and deal with this lane. They reset it back to like 2,000 gold. Once again, it's back up to 7, 8K. It's just how things roll. As you see the roller coaster that is the net worth in this game, same with the XP.
Love how so much of these team fights come down to like just the quick reaction of like BKBs, the swap from 1437. Because we've got these nullifiers from both the TA as well as the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
You get a nullifier on somebody like Raven or even Dendy. Before he gets off the BKB, it's gonna be trouble. Look at that, a refresher being built for Blizzard. He's gonna try for the double Omni Slash in one of these fights.
Does Healing Ward stack and heal?
I bet it does. I have no idea because I've never seen a refresher Juggernaut. I'll be totally honest with you.
I've never, yeah, I don't think I've. I bet it's one of those weird mechanics I do. They just act as independent things.
Yeah. Ward attack damage, that is so scary when you're already down so many lanes of racks. It's not just about winning a fight. They also have to stop the Shadow Shaman from getting up into that high ground.
Oh, Blizzard SBK, he has double damage. I think they smoke and take a fight.
Yeah.
This is probably one of your better opportunities, and they indeed do that as Swifty's going to go back to base, deal with this top lane, and this might actually just tip them off to the fact that they're making this play.
Dire are scanning.
They're in fact going to guess wrong. They go into this top lane, and we were indeed right.
Dire's middle
Because they saw the
tower is
Kunkka
under
go to
attack.
top, they're like, why would he just X for that if they're not outside their base trying to get something done? That's, like, Signify should watch the replay and be like, ah, so that's what happens. What we're supposed to do when people are most likely smoked. You're supposed to be patient and wait. So now they're going to go for their smoke of their own. They're running down mid lane right now.
Dire's
Blizzard,
middle tower is under attack.
got to be a little bit careful here as the illusions are going to deal with this creep wave. You see this top lane just continue to be such a nuisance for Signify. They don't feel comfortable leaving their base at any point right now. All slotted up on this Terrorblade.
Heading up to the top lane. At any point in time, they could get the swap into Hex play. They take care of some of the vision outside the base first. And again, Tigers do not need some sort of sneaky pickoff or anything to close out this game. They could just as easily just push into high ground between the attack range of the Terrorblade and the Serpent Ward damage. That lane of racks is not going to last long. just straight up buys a full Satanic and still has buyback on Raven.
Haste.
That's how much net worth he had saved up. So he's going to be lumbering around with no boots. Doesn't matter, though. And here we go. With the double siege creeps pushing forward.
I don't think they're going to go for this. I think they're going to probably wait for the next Aegis. That'd be the
no
safe thing to
sense in
do.
risking anything.
I think that'd be the smart thing to do. Unless they could get like an instant jump.
Dire's middle tower
Yeah.
is under attack.
I mean, you saw it there. Blizzard was incredibly paranoid of
He
getting
should be.
swapped back.
Oh, it looks like they're just going to go for this. A little bit curious of a choice just because they could just opt to wait for the next Aegis, get it onto Dendi. They'd have two ways to do this, but
Yeah.
not a lot of buybacks on either side.
Oh, stole reflection. That's a great steal for Ruben. Especially since I believe the debuff's going to last longer.
Yeah, that's an awesome
because of
steal.
his passive. So that cannot feel good. He's got to be careful, though. Don't want to Glimmer Cave forward. We see plenty of sentries laid out.
It's 1437 just laying out Wave of Terrors.
Raven pushing forward, trying to finish off this tier 3.
Dire's
Rally.
bottom tower has fallen.
Trying to catch somebody there.
Got their own Wave of Terror now to work with.
Would you rather have that or the reflection?
I mean, realistically, is he going to be able to get the reflection off? Everyone's got BKBs.
That's true.
Everyone just dispels it. Anyway, so I don't even know how effective that is. At least Wave of Terror gives you vision, which is
Yeah.
probably more important at this point, to be able to see where the Venge Shaman combo is so that one of your cores don't just get jumped on and blown up.
You have emphasized a few times to me the importance of late game bottles. And we're to see that here as Terrorblade has a double damage in a bottle right now.
And he's got an illusion rune too. I like that they're not just giving up this Roshan area. Signify are still playing aggressively in this game. DDTV is going to take down Roshan so quickly though. And if you look at bottom lane and top lane, they have to constantly go back for these waves. Ideally, Blizzard just sends forth his illusions,
Yeah.
tries to reset stuff.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
Coin of the realm.
If you're Raven, you just keep sending illusions in these lanes, put pressure on them. Make it hard for them to leave the base at any point. Now
All right.
Roshan's up. They should know about this too.
It turns nighttime, but at the same time, we still have that double damage rune.
I
on
can't
the
believe they didn't
Terrorblade.
give their refresher last time to the Shaman, by the way.
Are scanning.
Just like place double wards at bottom, you
Double
won the
wards,
game.
yeah.
I don't
feel
actually
ya.
think you can fight against all like 20 odd of those wards. Like I think they just take racks, especially
Yeah.
with the TB illusions just in there. Something will do the trick.
What shot is this?
No chance. Sneaking around here. Almost found Zephyr in time. Oh! So close. What a pickoff that would have been, especially as we are going to be heading into that Roshan fight too.
Oh no.
Roshan.
Now
is
Night
at
Stalker's
half
not here for
HP,
this.
and that double damage is doing so much. Look at those crits. They're going to try and get a pickoff here on 1437, who's kind of giving up his life to make sure that his team does successfully get the Roshan. Hey, Lotus Orb bouncing back those disables, but Aegis, Cheese, and Refresher Shard, all for Tigers.
And they're going to give the refresher once again to Centaur for that double ult, but... Oh, the Hex. Both teams are around here.
Oh,
It's
BKB
Velo.
activated, but Velo got hit by something. Wasn't able to get the flank forward and couldn't get the stop in time either. They do have the X. There's going to be the bash hit onto the Kunga, but he's so tanky. The Centaur Stampede's going to go off. The Omni Slash is bouncing around. Not actually doing that much damage because of the damage reduction going out there. And there's the Sunder onto Swifty. Swifty who bounces back with the
There's the
Lotus
second
Orb.
one.
He's going to try and get the boat coming out. That second Stampede is going down, and it looks like mass buybacks coming out for Signify as they've lost this fight. Can they win the second fight, though?
They all buy back for that. 4 buybacks on the side of Signify. That was the refresher Centaur used. but pretty low cost overall for that huge fight win.
They lost their gem, and we still have double cheese and Aegis for Tigers. In fact, to be honest, I'm surprised they're backing up. Maybe they just feel
It's
like
probably meta.
Metamorphosis is not going to last long enough, but
With no meta timing left, you just reset this.
yeah.
Try to get in and out.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The only way you lose this game at this point if you're Tigers is if you overextend there. And you have to force out buybacks of your own, then you just reset yourself 10 minutes into the past.
Yeah. All right, now is it Divine Rapier time?
Yeah, I'd
Kunkka?
consider it now. I think there's a strong argument for the Divine.
Well, unfortunately for him, he does not have enough money in the bank for such a thing. Our Terrorblade, meanwhile, is rich. 11,000 gold. He can buy a Moon Shard and still have plenty to work with. And another double damage.
I'd imagine they want to go with this DD. Aegis DD.
No meta, though. Doesn't matter if you have a double damage rune. I mean, he, even in melee form.
You probably wait the 30 seconds.
It's also nighttime. If they really wanted to, they could wait it out.
I mean, NS has ulti anyways.
Yeah. Signify desperately trying to hold that high ground against Tigers in this game too.
Do you take the Thorns Aura or whatever?
The Retaliator,
Centaur?
I mean, to be honest, excluding that one really sick stomp in Roshan, he hasn't been able to get a whole lot of stomps just because BKBs and, you know, spin and everything.
Yeah, but the
so.
1.5 second stomp, like if it does hit, that's a fight, that's a game winner.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think stomp is usually the play.
All right, here we go, Raven.
Raven starts laying some damage in. Blizzard's going to be forced to spin as Mellow blinking in and kind of, you know, saying, I'm going to hook stomp you, forces out that magic immunity.
That's the boat down too. And I think Raven is just going to continue to press forward, and he does indeed as
Dire's
There is
wards are
nothing
dropped now
stopping
too.
him. The clip is going to delay a little bit. Bello does come in with a stomp, hits the Centaur, or the Kunkka in the back lines. Blizzard's going to try and go for it. Night Stalker, oh Jesus. Dandy just ripped him apart. The Omni Slash ends up on pretty much only creeps here, and Blizzard is now going to have the man to try and get his way back. There is going to be this
Again,
Lotus
the
Orb, making
Lotus.
sure the swap doesn't work, but
They're
Raven,
getting Mega'd.
he doesn't need kills. He can just go for objectives here. Negi does eventually fall here. Raven battling it out with Blizzard. The jump in, the reflection slowing him down. Finally, they do finish up those racks. It's Swifty does manage to bounce back with a Sunder there and gets a bit more HP, but it just doesn't seem to matter. Even with
They're
a
too far
four-man
behind.
boat, they are just too far behind, and that is it. Signify. They put up one hell of a fight in this game too, but Tigers will take the series 2-0.
That was very well done by Tigers. They were really patient there at the end. They just kept taking fights on the side of Signify's base. At the same time, Signify, I mean, give a lot of credit to them. They made it a very good series, but I mean, I feel like this was their win. This should have been a 1-1. If it wasn't for that impatience at that Roshan pit, I feel like this should have been their game. Roshan's theirs for free. That mid lane is pushing in. All you have to do is wait for somebody from Tigers to go back. Then you
Right.
can go into it. Bring all 5 heroes here. They sort of just rush things a little bit, and that's going to cost them.
But as you said, really great showing by Signify here in this semifinals. Tigers are going to be moving on to the grand finals, though. And so, with that, it closes out our semifinals. We're going to be heading back to the panel, break down this series.
Thank you very much, Blitz and Cap. What a game that was. If I don't say so myself, the best game of the tournament so far. I'd first of all like to welcome Mr. Swordfish to the panel, a new member joining us. Lads, what do you think of that game? Like, what a cracker.
I mean, I think you're right. That game was the most exciting game of the tournament until now. I saw Signify that could actually come back, and it was very nice to see them actually learn from their mistakes in the game number one. One of the things I loved the most actually about that game was the draft.
Yep.
And we were talking about it. I mean, you gave Raven the Terrorblade. That's not good. It's never good. But I think the draft for Signify covered a lot of the issues they have as a team. If you actually look at the map in the game, you notice that they had no wards in the map. Not because they didn't buy them, but because 1437 beat them in the Vision game completely. So if you lose in the Vision game, what do you pick? Well, Night Stalker's pretty good because he gives you Vision of the high ground. The Kunkka with the sustain of the Coco's Realm is fantastic. So is the healing ward of the Juggernaut. You have the Torrent even to get some Vision of the high ground. Those are the kind of heroes you want to pick if you don't have that Vision control. If you want to go into the high ground and go ham like Signify does. And that actually worked really nicely for them, especially in the mid game.
I think the one thing to point out about the Terrorblade was how they positioned it in the early game. They sent the tri-lane bottom, and Terrorblade didn't really come out as on top as he should have, in my opinion. And thus, Blizzard on his jug had complete and total free farm. That was the biggest contrast for me in the two games, right? The early game.
That's where the early game started. Like in game number one, Tigers got online pretty much instantly, right? They had the lanes locked down and then transitioned from there. In this game, it was way more even. And also, in case of Blizzard, he was on a hero that was fitting more into the way he played. When on Morphling, he was starting to fight early, not really the hero for it, right? Juggernaut, though, he can do that very easily, just leveraging the spin. And yeah, they went from there. You took the everything, the words out of my mouth when you said that was probably the best game of the day, of the tournament so far. These two teams looked even.
I want to bring up, even though Signify did lose, their itemization. We were talking about it earlier. It is just so like out there, and it just kind of works. Like, when have you ever seen like Radiance, Shivas, Lincoln's Mjolnir on a Juggernaut? Like what?
That was the anti-Terrorblade build.
Yeah,
right?
100%. But it was just so innovative, and like to play like that and build items like that on a big stage, you know, just the balls on the lad. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, the courage. I mean, they were playing to last in the beginning. You notice the first item on Kunkka is a Crimson Guard and drums. So fully, I don't want to die. I don't want to lose this game early. And then that allows them to actually itemize a bit more creatively because you have all this, like, I guess a cushion for you. The Crimson Guard stops a lot of the damage. The Night Stalker also goes for an early basher, which worked wonderfully against those BKBs. They knew what they were doing, and they had a strategy. And I like that they itemized as a team. They weren't playing individually trying to maximize their farm. They were playing as a team to try to maximize the team fight.
I think they actually would have won the game. I can't remember who it was that said it. I think it was Blitz, but there was like a 40-minute Roshan, and it was the end for them really. Like there was some creeps hitting the range racks in the middle lane, and it was pretty obvious that Tigers are smoked. Like, you know, no one's defending the racks, no one like on the map at all, and then they still go for the Roshan.
Yeah. That is one of these situations, one of these late game Dota situations where a single lapse of judgment right there can just cost you the entire game. Because yeah, you're absolutely right. That was the turnaround point where Tigers was forcing out a few buybacks here and there, were able to secure the Roshan more importantly. And yeah, from there on out, the later the game goes, the more of these kind of things matter so much more.
Speaking of Tigers, we actually have 1437 backstage with Pinda Panda for an interview.
Hello everyone, namaste. I'm here with 1437 and Dandy, guys. Congratulations, that was a long game, but it was so worth to watch it. We want to know what was going through your minds throughout the game, like a summary of it.
It was kind of chaotic, I guess. Like there was a lot of stuff happening all the time, but I felt like they were always pressured to do something. So as long as we had our guard up and we just baited them in, I think it was going to be kind of always in our hands, the game. Yeah.
Oh, second game was a real war. It was a lot of battles. It was exciting to play, and I hope it was fun to watch also.
No trash talk at all? No? So, okay. You guys are going to be playing against Team Detonator next in the grand finals. How confident are you guys playing against them?
I think we know what we want, so we're just gonna go into the games and just do whatever like we do, and it just comes down to Detonator. Like I think they're a good opponent, and they beat us earlier in the groups, so we're looking to get our revenge.
We are super confident.
Super confident. Speaking of super confident, how cool is your trash talk? Like, is it good or is it like intermediate? Come on, trash talk. Everybody has trash talk gaming.
Get ready. We are coming.
That's the trash talk? Oh, Dundee, no. What about you? Come on, you got to step up your game.
I hope DTN can give us a good game.
That's not a trash talk. The trash talk is like, watch me. Team Detonator, you're going down. That's, you get it, right? No? All right. Oh, all right. Never mind. Guys, thank you so much. I know you guys are tired. We'll see you shortly.
I didn't really feel that anger, that aggression. They were pretty tame.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they still have another game to play, right? You got to stay in the zone.
That's true. Very wise. And speaking of the next game, the finals of the Cobx Masters will be in 30 minutes. We have Team Tigers versus Detonators. See you guys then.